Hey guys, it's me cyoubx, and today I'm just going to go over the main speed cubes that I use, and I'm also going to give some recommendations for each order puzzle. Currently I'm only doing cubic puzzles because I never really got into Megaminx or Pyraminx or Magic or any of that. So for today it's just going to be cubic puzzles, and I'll just go through each one, tell you what I average, what I did to each cube, mods and stuff, and what I lubed it with. And then I will also give you some recommendations, because for some of these puzzles, the cubes that I use aren't really the best cubes. They're just the ones that I like the most. So I don't want to give you the impression that these are the cubes that you should use. 2x2. This is just a V-Cube 2. Some people like to do the mod on the corners to make it look like a Wit Eden or Wit 2, but I don't think it's necessary. I've talked to a person who did it, and apparently it really didn't do that much. It wasn't that worth it, and even if it is, I'm not going to do it because I don't like 2x2. I think it's a fun puzzle, but I'm not really into it. I lube this with shock oil, maru lube, and maybe differential oil, but can't be sure. Either way, 2x2, V-Cube 2, it's a good cube. It was really fast out of the box, so good stuff. For 2x2, I would recommend getting either V-Cube 2, which is pretty expensive, or just getting a Type C, which is the Wit 2, and that's a really nice cube. Landland and Ghost Hands, those aren't obsolete yet. If you want to get those are pretty good as well. So, yep. 3x3, I'm skipping over. I'll come back to that. 4x4, this is just a Shengshou version 3, unmodded. I lubed it with differential oil, and it's decent. The unfortunate thing about 4x4s is that there really aren't any good ones. A lot of them are decent, and compared to all the other 4x4s, yeah, they're good, except that all 4x4s kind of suck, so it's not saying much. This one can't really cut corners, as you can see, and if it's too loose, then it just catches too much. So Shengshou 4x4 version 3 is good. I don't think it's the best for everyone, though. A lot of people have had success with the MF8 Diane 4x4, that one and the mini version, so both of those are pretty decent. I don't have them, but they're pretty good. Marus are okay. I like it, but a lot of people don't. So, yeah. 5x5 and 6x6, I'll skip those as well. 7x7, V-Cube 7, unmodded. It's good. I don't really do 7x7 that much. And, yeah, it's fun, but, yeah, just unmodded. I lubed this with differential oil. Makes it very smooth. The only complaint I have with this one is you can hear that crunching sound. I'm thinking that for these centerpieces, which has it's like an iceberg basically, this is the tip and then 80% is in here somewhere. I'm thinking that if I take that out, there's going to be a ton of flash, and if I sand that down, this will go away, but can't be bothered. Don't care enough about 7x7 to do it. And so I guess we'll just go back down. 6x6, V-Cube 6. I'm not going to get a Shengshou because honestly, I love this cube. It's one of my favorite cubes. That being said, a lot of people do like the Shengshou, and so that's something you should consider. It's a lot cheaper as well, and you don't have to do as extensive of a mod as a V-Cube 6. So this is fully modded, completely smooth. This currently has 3 pins. I actually used pre-cut paper clips, which I think just work a lot better. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. There you go. And all the layers are really smooth. I lubed this with differential oil. It's very gummy, mostly because I haven't broken it in yet. I just re-lubed it, so it's a little gummy, but it's very fast and doesn't lock up. It's just really good. I don't recommend getting this if you don't like modding, because this was sort of a pain in the anus to mod, but if you want to put in the time, it's worth it. It's very good, very fast. Really like it. Okay, 5x5. This one, I don't know. I'm disappointed with all the 5x5s I have. This is the Shengshou 5x5 that I just finished modding yesterday, and maybe you can see that right here. You see how it's completely hollowed out, and if I turn like this, it's a little bit difficult to see, but maybe you can see how there's like this huge sort of a wedge in between the pieces. Everything just looks super rounded. You can see that. I did a lot of modding to this. It's basically, I don't know whose mod it is, but I'll link a tutorial in the description. Basically follow that tutorial, except just really round everything off. And it's an okay cube. It cuts over a QB if you force it, but under a QB it's really easy. Reverse corner cuts just a little bit, but better than nothing, I guess. It is a good cube. A lot of people like the Shengshou. I don't. I like the V cube, but the only reason this isn't my main is because my V cube is really stiff and it's not responding to any sort of breaking in. I've had this for like 2 years now. It's really not getting any better. It's not bad, but Shengshou is a little bit better. They're both pretty terrible though. So yeah, Shengshou is good. It's cheap. It's like $10. Get this. But if you want to spend a little more money, get the V cube as well. I do like the V cube a little bit more, but this is pretty good after the mod, which took a really long time. I'm not going to go over everything I did with this cube though, so if you want to see what I did with this cube, just leave a comment saying that you want to see more about the whatever this is called, Shengshou 5x5. So if you want to see my 5x5, just write a comment below saying I want to see your 5x5, and do that with this as well, the 3x3. Lubed it with a ton of different things all at once. I first started with silicone spray, the old-fashioned stuff. Then I lubed it with maru lube. I just dropped it through these holes. Then I lubed it with differential oil around these outer places. And then I took it apart and I lubed the inside with Silicube. So yeah, lots of stuff in here. If you want to know more about this cube, I'll explain why I did all those things in that video, but for now we're gonna skip over it. So here is my favorite cube. It is a 3x3. It's just a GuHong, but I did a lot of mods to it, and if you watch my video on how to make a speed cube, you'll know pretty much everything that I did, but it's just extensively modded. It's pretty much the fastest cube that I've ever felt, yet it's really controllable. So really nice cube. Don't know what I lubed it with. Oh no, I lubed it with Silicube. I did that in a video, but I'll just show you what I did. So here, hopefully you can see that. This is an alpha core. The screws and springs are still Diane, however, but I just modded the core, or I swapped out the core. I'm having a few focusing issues, but it doesn't really matter. On the corner, you can see how there's sort of a ring around it. It's sort of hard to see, but basically on the outer edges there's a little ring, which is where the screws go. I think you can see that now. If I place a screw next to it, you can see how there's sort of a ridge. I sanded that down so that the screws would have more space to move around in here. So you can see how it has more space to wiggle around. These screws are just regular machine screws that I put into the GuHong. Add some mass to it. It's really nice. Recommend the mod. You should do it. And I did the 48-point edge mod, and I rounded these bits as well. On the corners, I also rounded right here. So a lot of modding done. I don't know how long it took, but it was worth it. For 3x3s, most people don't use GuHongs anymore. Plus, it's pretty much obsolete. You either get the GuHong version 2 or the Zhanchi. Both are pretty good cubes. I don't like the Zhanchi, I never did. I always like the GuHong more, so I don't have a GuHong version 2, but I've heard that it's a really nice cube. I've also heard the Zhanchi is still better than the GuHong version 2, so you might want to just get both and see for yourself. But GuHongs are definitely my all-time favorite cube. They're just really good, really easy to mod. There's so many different things you can do to them. It's just overall like one of the best 3x3s for different reasons. But the Zhanchi, yeah, it's good. And this one I didn't do any modding to it. It's still an okay cube. So I guess lastly I'll just go over the times I get for each cube. 2x2, don't really know. 4 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. I use Ortega. It's I don't know. Again, I don't care much about 2x2. 3x3, I use CFOP. I average 11 or 12 seconds, although I haven't cubed much recently, so I could be slower, not sure. 4x4, really don't care about 4x4 that much. I use Yao, but I think I'm going to go back to just regular reduction because Yao is kind of tricky, and it's not all that great, but it's okay. I average like 105, so I'm not too good. 5x5, I've been practicing this a little bit more than the other cubes recently. This I average around 155, a little bit less than that, and I use just regular reduction, and I slice along the E, and I do free slicing along the E slice, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. 6x6 reduction, I average 407, I think. Not too good at it, and I use regular reduction. 7x7, don't even know. I think probably around 730. I don't think I've actually ever done a full average, so I don't really know. But I know it's sub 8, and that's about it. So, yeah, if you want to see any like particular details on these two cubes, just leave a comment. Maybe you want to see both in detail, like the mechanism and stuff. Please don't do the first, second, third, fourth thing. I'm assuming you all can count, and if not, then you should look that up. But this is it. Sorry I couldn't make a video on Friday. College makes me busy, and I really should be studying instead of doing this anyway. So, yeah, again, comment for if you want to see these two cubes in detail. Otherwise, toodles.